You.
What is this panel?
Halloween 3.
Halloween 3. Oh, and Tommy Lee Wallace will be here, and Stacey Nelkin will be here.
We're here for you.
Stacey Nelkin. Yeah. I'm the first one here. I thought I was going to be the last one here. I was the last one here for the podcast yesterday. I was the only one on it. 5 people to ask questions, and a lot of people there, and I was over across the street having ice cream. Well, how many of you are coming to be sloshed with me?
Yeah.
I will not have any shots. No shots.
No time.
Beer or 2. And we'll have a good time. I've been in lots of saloons, but I've never been in saloons with fans before. So it'll be different. Whoa. Bradley Schacter. He was a little child, a little boy, and he was the son of Ralph Straight, who played Buddy.
Buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Mom?
I know there's a mom.
Yeah, Buddy and his wife and Bradley.
Get someone behind you. Turn around, Tom.
Oh, this is Dean Cundy. And still is. And a funny man. So, yeah. And Tommy Lee Wallace.
This is actually the first time I saw the director of these people in about 35 years since we shot the film. This is my first time.
This is really a weird setup for anybody who sits right here. None of you can see that person.
Take the podium, Tom.
And same on that side. Oh shit!
Set designer.
Because I don't care of that.
Sideways.
So we don't know if anybody's coming to run this or not.
I'll run it. Come on, let's have some fun. That's my first time in Tampa. Is this just a panel like a question and A?
Yep.
She's fine. Okay. Yeah, she's fine. Anybody have any questions? I'm sure at first you guys do have questions. Let me just get in for a second. All right. Anybody have any questions? This is the director. You guys know this guy, Tommy? Wait, Dean Cundy. You did, okay, you're gonna read 35 years ago, you taught me a little sound to go in my ear. That was you.
What was that?
You got little bugs down, and to this day, I still bug my nephews and nieces and all my friends. Yeah. To this day, I think it was you who taught it to me.
It was popular at the time. There was another one.
Oh my gosh.
I guess I
We're just reminiscing if you don't mind
from
us.
Dean or from John. You go up to somebody, especially if they're wearing jeans, and you get out your lighter and you go cha-ching on their butt, and you count to, what, 3, and then take it away. And it's just enough that by the time you walk away, they go, "Oh!" This is how you make a good movie. How we spend our time with that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dick.
I just wanted to thank you so much.
Is there a chair for tomato?
I feel like playing between 2 pearls.
So I'm going to tell you a story about Ralph Strait, who played Buddy, who was a dear friend of mine in real life. And he was his father in the movie, Bradley's father. But Ralph was a wonderful old actor, character actor, great, big, outsized for the breed, way heavy guy, and he loved to go to piano bars and sing. He had a good voice, and he sang. He's did a couple of musicals in New York, and he was good at that stuff. And then he ended up moving from LA back to New York, and he was driving a cab. This is going to be a sad story. But he was driving a cab, and every time I would go to New York, I would meet him at Sardi's, and we would drink at the bar and reminisce about Halloween 3 and our times doing plays together up at Williamstown Summer Theater. And one night, he was in New York, maybe 10 years ago, or maybe even longer, and went to a piano bar, had a bunch of drinks, sang a bunch of songs, and drove home to Staten Island and pulled over and died. Just had a heart attack, died. That was the end.
Really funny story.
Dear Ralph. I know that you're right next to me. Why you're walking
Hi,
me
everybody.
over?
Thank you guys for coming. Seriously, this is an amazing show, right?
Yeah.
Really, really, really.
Yeah.
That's your work.
So was there an answer to that story?
Well, he got
I walked into a really upbeat story.
Well, just some guys sharing,
Yeah. Well, Jesus, it's really bizarre.
Someone's forgotten.
Choose somebody from the audience.
Do it ourselves.
Sure.
I got a question. For Dean and Tommy, how long did it take you guys to find the shooting locations?
How long did it take us to find the shooting location? In case you couldn't hear in the back. How long was it? We were. It was really a nice, pretty smooth sailing thing because we started in Eureka, Northern California, and as most people know, Lolita is just a little south of Eureka. So the plan was to come down the coast looking for the perfect location, and about 50 miles out of Eureka we found it. Oh, okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next part of the production. Finding Lolita was a good key to the other assorted locations we needed, such as a couple of places in Sierra Madre and around other parts of Los Angeles. But anybody who's been up there on some sort of mission of research for Halloween 3 knows that when you drive into Lolita, it is just like the characters in the movie driving into this place. You feel like you're being watched. It's just a strange little town. Yes?
Can you talk about the decision not to use Michael Myers at number 3?
We'll get to that. Let's see if we finish off the location question. Then we'll return to that. I will point out that we chose Sierra Madre sentimentally because the inspiration for Halloween 3, in my own mind at least, was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a film which was shot largely around Sierra Madre. So you'll see all sorts of references to that movie. Santa Mira, the name of the town, for example, is right out of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's about it for that. Do you want to move all around into the question of no Michael Myers in Halloween 3?
Yes.
Is that where we should go next? John and Deborah did Halloween, as you know, producer and director and co-writers. And I got in on the ground floor pretty early on. Friend of John's, we'd done movies together before. When it was a success, the idea of a sequel didn't pop up right away. We did other movies first, so it was 2 or 3 years later, I think, before we got to Halloween 2. And all of us were really naive. You need to understand that the sequel-itis that swept Hollywood hadn't happened yet. So the idea of a sequel was still sort of unique. And we were all, honestly, this is the truth, we were all like, what? Sequel? Why would we want to do a sequel? It's really, most sequels are driven by money more than anything else. Godfather maybe being an exception. It's a great story, and you needed 2 movies to tell. Perhaps, I guess 3. We can debate about that. But we weren't interested in Halloween 2 at all. But it became obvious that the train was leaving the station whether we were on it or not, and so it went forward. I was originally going to direct it, but I had to confess I didn't care for the script. And John and Deborah deserved a director who was really enthusiastic, so I felt horrible, and I felt like I was blowing a good chance, but I said no because I just hated the script. The arms race of violence had happened in the meantime, and John felt like he had to sort of jack up the stakes, and so whereas Halloween was all about light and shadow and suggestion and expectation and playing with the audience, really elegant, old school horror, Halloween 2 was about hypodermic needles in the eye. And if you like that sort of thing, more power to you, but I didn't, and I still don't. And so I said no. Okay, so that all sets the stage for Halloween 3, at which point John and Deborah had really had it with Michael Myers and the legend and the knife and the whole business. And they said, well, okay, we'll do it as long as we don't have to do that again. And that's how the whole thing was born. We sat around and said, whoa, wait a minute, what if we did an anthology series where you had a new story about Halloween every year? Which is a great idea. And had Halloween 3 been a big hit out of the gate, we'd still probably be cranking out all sorts of new stories about Halloween. However, we were all so naive as to A, go along with the idea of calling Season of the Witch Halloween 3, which is kind of absurd. And it was just our naivete to let Universal advertise the movie without a hint of setting the table and saying, here's what we're trying this year, something all different, all new. We didn't do any of that, so the audience went in to the theaters and went, we're not lying! We got several years of that. Fortunately, as all you guys know by now, the movie has found its audience, it's found its niche in the movie world, the horror movie world. And in fact, all due respect to the original Halloween, this movie's actually about Halloween. Yeah, no, it's totally about Halloween. That's why people keep showing it every year at this season, because it's actually about that thing. And that's kind of the thing that happened. That's the reason there was no Michael Myers in number 3. Now, cut to several years later, what are we on, like Halloween 17 or something? Mustafa Akkad, and then his son after him, Malik. I spoke to Mustafa on the phone one day, and it was long about Halloween 7 or 6 or something. I said, aren't you ever just going to kill this guy off? He said, no, he's a gold mine. Michael Myers will never die. It's my cheap imitation of the man. By the way, rest in peace. Tragically killed. But anyway, as we know, the legend goes on and on and on and on and on. And I understand the new Halloween kind of drops everything but the first 2 and kind of starts over. I believe they explained that away by saying, oh, they made all that stuff up or something like that. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know.
If the movie was successful, was there, because I love the movie. That stupid song, though, is stuck in my head over and over. I mean, every Halloween store I go to, I can hear dun, 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 dun. But it was what always interests me, because I really like the movie, and I was always wondering what direction you guys would have gone into next if it had been successful.
Boy, I don't know. It's a fun project when you're driving across the country, for example, to just go, if my assignment was to think up 2 or 3 new Halloween, totally different concepts, what would they do? Well, it's an endless subject, so it would be fun, and I still don't understand why somebody hasn't jumped on it. Or maybe they are jumping on it under other titles, Trick or Treat or whatever. But yeah, had it been a smash hit, we know we'd still be going at it. And yeah, it's a fun parlor game, if nothing else. Oh, that's London Bridge, by the way, the song. Deborah asked me to go in the studio and come up with something. And her only caveat was it couldn't be something that we'd have to pay for. It would have to be public domain. And so it was like, London is falling. And that was easy enough to get to. I went into the studio with Alan Howard and did a bunch of voices and chipmunked them up, sped them up, and did all the keyboard parts. And it's a demon song. I definitely think it's for crazy people. Sean Clark, folks.
So our moderator, Steve Martin, apparently mixed some stuff up and didn't show up. But Brian Collins, who's doing other panels today, happened to be in the house, and he said he'd jump in. So let's hear it for Brian Collins.
Hi, everyone. What about this? What have we already talked about? We already talked about the Silver Shamrock theme, so now I'm out of questions, because that's obviously...
We talked about why there's no Michael Myers in Halloween 3. We sort of set the table about locations for this movie. And that's about as far as we've got.
Hey, have we talked about Sam Hain? No, we haven't talked about. That was an interesting. The story originally involves the fact that the find was Sam Hain.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, he's the guy. Sam Hain. He's the guy. Because it was a Celtic, word for Halloween.
Yeah, and Dan O'Hurley taught us that the actual pronunciation is Samhain. But that's beside the point. Nigel Neal didn't know that.
That ruined completely the whole story when Sam Hain. If it was
sound like. So I don't know why those guys talk like
Dean, as I was first viewed, is you're doing Halloween 3, which obviously it's set in a different universe. One with a deep look in there, after shooting some of the same areas. How did you go about approaching that?
Can you guys hear that?
No, I don't. Is this right? Yeah. I was asking Dean, he's doing Halloween 3. It's not the same universe this time, but he's shooting in some of the same areas. So how does he go about making it look different, but also fit?
Well, I think each film has its own look. What you do as a cinematographer, you complement or explain the world, the story, the characters, and everything. And each movie has its own kind of look. So I just approached this not as Michael Myers because he wasn't in it,
I knew it when I was 12. I'm very confused.
Yeah. So I just approached it as different, and I, as a cinematographer, I was kind of delighted that it was a completely different story. It wasn't the same one. It was going to have this kind of fantasy spookiness to it. So and completely different locations, as Tommy mentioned. So I just started from zero and said, what did it need?
Being the director of a movie where most of the crew and I have been in the trenches together on earlier movies, not me as a director, but me in other capacities, I can't tell you how reassuring it was, because by then I knew that Dean Cundy was unparalleled in his talent. And the idea of getting to settle into a movie where I didn't have to think much about, was it going to look okay? I knew it was going to look fucking brilliant.
Yep.
And of course, Dean has gone on since then to just chart his way into the stratosphere of great movies. So I just want to tell him how grateful I am that he was directing the photography. Damn good job.
Returning the compliment, I have to say, I was glad that Tommy was doing it because we knew each other, we had a working relationship, and also I knew he wasn't a jerk.
It counts for so much in the movies.
Dick, you were another holdover from the previous film, but obviously you're not playing Michael this time. Talk about being an android this time instead, and were you excited to be able to be unmasked this time?
Well, I had to work very hard to get into the part. I just took the Myers mask off and did it over again. And I'm grateful to the folks for carrying me along. With that,
yeah, I had a swell time doing the film. Worked with Tom, Dean, and Stacey, and I think it was Tommy or John or something, maybe Deborah, somebody called me when we were, and said, I was already cast as the Dr. Challis, and they said, we're looking at we had 3 girls here. Would you come over and read with them and figure out if one of them was right for Miss Grimbridge? And I can't remember the other 2 or who else was there, but when Stacey walked into the room, that was that, and we all knew, and she got the part. Did they call you that day?
Called me as I was walking in the door
Great.
home from the audition, which never
Great.
happens.
Yeah.
No, it was really magical. The whole thing was really something.
Yeah.
And Tom, we're all complimenting each other here, and there's a reason.
Yeah.
It was the most easygoing. Tommy Lee and Dean, everybody was so cool and so just into what we were doing and easygoing and passionate but not crazy nuts, neurotic. And Tom, the greatest co-star, he made everything so much fun and so easy. You probably all met him because I sing the lines at his table. He's hilarious, so he makes everything fun. So.
It was a non-assholic set.
I do want to add, when Tommy was referring to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and the place we're drinking tonight, Buccaneer, is up there and overlooks the square where the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers trucks dropped off the pods. So while you're listening to three hard days though, Matt, you can look out the window if it's not too dark and see that square.
Boy, about that little theme. Anybody here take piano lessons when you were young? Jesus Christ. There's a standard classic recital piece called the Spinning Song. And it starts out in the left hand. And that was the basis for my arrangement of London Bridge and the 8 More Days lyrics. But it does get in your brain.
Bradley, you have one of the more horrific deaths in the series. Certainly the film.
It's an absolute honor.
Talk about snakes. Talk about and whatever else was in there. How did you prep for something like that?
Well, they made a mold of my head, and they put a plaster all over it, and then they reversed the mold. And I'm sure you could answer molds better than I can, because this is I was still a kid at the time. And they basically reversed the mold and molded it with the mask on it. They just put the snakes and bugs right through the tube, and we all laughed. People thought it was a scary. Shooting this film was not scary at all. It was a lot of fun. It was just kind of more laughing than it is crying.
People do ask, kind of naively, I think, were you scared? You know, all these horror movies, was it scary on set and you just have to laugh? You go, no, it was a riot. It was people like blood on a paintbrush and people on screen. It was just idiotic and crazy and fun. But I must say, there was one scary moment. And were you there when we unleashed the snakes and the bugs?
I think we
sent you to school.
I was at school. Yeah, there was a young lady who was my second.
We had snakes and a snake wrangler and a bug wrangler on set. And one of those snakes was a real honest to Pete rattlesnake that was not defanged or devenomized. That was a scary moment. That's the only. I've worked with all kinds of animals, wolves and lions, but a rattlesnake crawling around, that made me pretty uneasy.
And if you walk around the set, they were all in these glass cages. But if you look at the shot, most of the bugs coming out with crickets. So to make it look, I guess, like there was many more bugs. But at the set, the rest of the day, those crickets got everywhere. So it was just one big chirp fest.
Tommy Causey, the sound man, just drove him nuts after that. Brad, would you elaborate a little on your experience? You were just a kid, and were you working a lot, kind of getting around to different movies?
I was doing a lot of commercials, and I was almost cast in a bunch of stuff. I was the token redhead. They were looking for a redhead. At the time I had red hair. It was pretty far gone. I was doing lots of commercials and voiceovers. I was a voice of a shorter on Charlie Brown for a while, and I did lots of commercials. I remember actually when I came into audition, you said you have to be a real big brat. I said, well, that's pretty easy for me. So I was like, no, just kidding. And I just remember at the audition, you were in the audition with the casting director, and I would read the line, and you guys would just start laughing. And I'm like, how rude. What's the problem? And I read it again, and they started laughing again. I'm like, okay, well, so much for that. I guess you're going to do anything. It's good for the self-esteem. So, anyway, so they were laughing. I took it as a bad sign, but I was actually shooting a Friendly's ice cream commercial. And my mother opens the trailer for the door where when you're under 18 or under 16, you have to go to school while you're on the set. You have to go to school for about 3 hours a day. And she poked her head in and she goes, "You got Halloween 3," and she closed the door. And that was the beginning of an adventure. So then the shooting, everything, the whole process, everybody was so wonderful and friendly. It's a blast. When you're on the set, when you're, as an actor, when you're not working, it sucks. When you're working, you're having the time of your life. And it really was.
All right, Tom, I gotta ask about throwing the mask over the TV. I went to the event, this took me 40 takes. I can't imagine the great Tom Atkins took 40
We did it
takes.
first.
Yeah, okay, that makes
No, we didn't.
There-
Yeah, I got somehow, was free, got the mask, and was still bound somehow and kind of flipped it. And then I think Tommy, and it went 4 feet, and the thing was 30 feet up on the wall. Tommy got up on a high ladder and took the mask. From what I remember, it went like that from about 3 feet away from it and missed about 4 or 5 times. And it went up, and what's in the movie? Bang!
My friend Dean will confirm that what happened was we were rehearsing, done in pieces if you watch, the shot where the mask flies through the air and lands on the camera is its own shot. And so I was standing there and the camera was getting ready, and I was saying, I want it to be kind of like this. I went, and it went on the goddamn camera. It was exactly what I had. And Dean was standing next to him. I heard him mutter, "Oh, shit." Because the camera wasn't rolling, of course. We were not even in rehearsal yet. But he knew, being a veteran, that it's going to take us 27, I think it was 27 takes to actually get to do that again. And he was right.
Well, and that's always the thing whenever you're doing some tricky little stunt or something like that. You never want to curse yourself when you're cursing. You talk about it, yeah, but then you set up the camera because sure enough it's going to happen the first time and then it won't ever happen. So you always, shoot the rehearsal.
By the time we were shooting Halloween 3, I had done a few pictures. Dean had done many, many pictures. So I looked at him as kind of the old pro by then. He knew movie lore. And so we're out there on the road, we're getting near the end of the shoot, and there's a simple shot of the car, which Tom Atkins is driving, only in this case it was stunt driver Dick Warlock in his place. And all that needed to happen was the car had to come tearing down the road and take a right into some gravel and down past us, and then we cut to where the car lands. And not a real complex thing, or so we thought. And Dean had just been instructing me before that on several location occasions that it's always good to know where you're going to jump if something goes wrong. Just have your exit prepared. It's just good intelligence, safety information. Okay, so you just pick out a spot. If something goes south here, I'm going to dive over there, or I'm going to get behind this thing. And so we're standing there, and I think maybe I thought that for a minute, but it's such a simple thing we were doing. Just a car gets off the road and goes over there. And here comes Dick, hell-bent for leather. I mean, we were really pushing the thing. And it came off the road, and it broke loose, of all things. And it's something we had not anticipated. It broke loose and started coming sideways toward us. And basically, it was going to mow us all down. There's nothing between us and the car that was getting sideways. And there was a telephone pole, and you see it in the movie. movie, if you watch that shot, the tail end of the car just, boom, catches the telephone pole and it straightens out again. It goes past. It's like, oh, good. Yeah, carefully worked out. But what amused me afterwards was Dean included. Did all of us jump for our little safety place? No, we stood there. I went back to that telephone pole later. It's a place I walked my dog and thanked it.
Well, see, I knew that this was completely controlled. And it was just an embellishment about the shot. I wasn't worried.
Oh, I knew that really and truly. Dick was in total control of it.
Who was in the car with?
Wasn't it Stacey?
You said it, like a car?
Well, it might have been a stunt person because, I mean, it is a stunt, technically speaking, but it was pretty simple. Yeah.
Oh, I lost control. Hang on.
Because I don't remember. It was. I wouldn't remember the scary moment like that.
For Tom and Stacey, you guys talked about shooting your climactic scene together. You play some of it without a head, but I mean, talk about rehearsing that, getting that fight down.
There? Was it different?
You're talking about when I'm in the car. And like now.
Yeah.
There was nothing really.
I don't remember rehearsing.
We just kind of did it.
Feels like we just did.
I think at a certain point we buried you, didn't we? So we had your head kind of, you were blinking your eyes.
That was a different scene. That was after the park when my head, right, when you had that fabulous platform built. You guys all know about, right, when my head's off and I'm looking at my body, which to me was the most amazing thing about filmmaking and how they did it in those days, because it was, you know, like how they made movies up until all of the digital stuff. They really had to use imagination and thought, and they built this platform that a body could go under, and they had grass all over it, and so they had two holes, one my body double, who was exactly my size, wearing the same outfit that I had been wearing for like weeks at that time, the same outfit. So, you know, you look down and you're always wearing the same thing. So the body double, who was exactly my size, is over there, and there was a hole, and her head went down into the platform, but she could breathe because there was enough room in there, covered with dirt and grass, so that you couldn't see where, you know, she was. And then they put me under the platform with my head sticking up like a little whack-a-mole, you know, looking up, and I'm looking at my body over there, and I'm telling you, it was really trippy. So I never forgot that moment, because I really had to go, wait, that's my body over there, because she looked so much like me and wearing the identical clothing I'd been wearing, as I said, for weeks and weeks. It was really cool how you guys did that. And that was that moment, but that was a whole separate setup. That was not when we were in the car that night. That was a whole separate, we did that on stage, right on the sound stage. Or something, yeah, I wasn't in that. On that.
I thought it was pretty bizarre when her arm attacked. And I had to hold it and do well. And I'm sure I thought, oh my God, is this real? What real?
Sure, we all rehearsed it. We all rehearsed it as children out in the backyard. You know?
Although there was a moment where we were leading up to it where it had to be a real arm. And it wasn't Stacey, it was maybe your body double, I'm not sure, but she was down on her knees right in front of me, right up against me, and with her arm up there, and I'm fighting the arm, and she's fighting me, and the closeness of her face to mine. It was exciting. It put a different spin on that moment.
I like those kinds of cinema moments because it goes all the way back almost to the beginning of movies. There was nothing real technical about a lot of that stuff. It was just, okay, you direct the audience's attention here, and you're doing it quick and dirty, and I love that kind of simple solutions to what sometimes can become really complicated problems. I remember, to harken back to the fog, we were up in Inverness, California, a real scenic part of the state. And we had to get this chair to tremble and move in a ghostly way because the fog was out and weird things were happening. And we were locked in this long discussion. I think Dean was in on the conversation. Several people were trying to weigh in on what would be the best way to make this chair move and tremble just itself. And it was getting complicated about pulleys and time release craft and stuff. And Dick Alvey, the special effects man, kind of leaned in and said, "Why don't I just hide over there behind that chair with a stick and just push it?" So I was like, yeah, that's going to work. I love that stuff.
We have time for a couple more from you guys before the next panel. Yeah, Red Hat.
I just have a question for Tommy Lee Wallace. First of all, Halloween 3 was definitely not one of my favorites growing up, like when I first got into the series, but in recent years I found a new appreciation for it, and I love the movie now.
Come to Jesus moment.
Yeah. But I've always wondered, how did Conal Cochran get Stonehenge to Silver Shamrock?
Magic.
All right, I'll take it.
My dream has always been like a movie like Sorcerer, where he hired a bunch of guys to like deliver this through like Stonehenge rocks through terrain. I want to see that one too. We had a ton getting here.
That could have been the sequel.
Or a prequel.
Prequel.
Right there, class.
Stacey and Tom, probably easily my favorite of the Halloween sequels. Can you talk about working with Dan O'Hurley?
Dan O'Hurley.
Oh my God, he was the consummate professional, amazing, I want to say English actor, no disparaging American actors, but he just was so talented. He would be lovely and warm off the set, and the minute the cameras would roll, that look, that coldness would just come right over him. It would be right in the moment. So it's hard to imagine him being such a nice, warm guy, but he really was, because he was so good in that role.
He was a real treat. That old cliche, but he was the consummate pro, and he knew what he was doing and where he was going, and Tommy set up great framework for work within and get to where he wanted to go. And he was lovely. I wondered, did you think it was a treat for him? He had done so many kind of classical, I think he had a lot of stage experience over there, and a lot of more serious classic kind of stuff.
When Halloween was getting cast, John was really hopeful that he might cast Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing in the Dr. Loomis, my ex-wife's name. You know her as Nancy. Anyway, those guys were informed about the part, and John and Deborah were on a campaign to get them. But I think they just didn't trust the notion that these kids, know-nothing kids, doing this cheapo movie might pull something off that was worthwhile. And so they said no. Cut to several years later, and we're making this one, and in the meantime, the horror world has just blown up into an industry. I think Dan probably knew the school of acting he was going to enter. It was Grand Guignol, and it was on the cheap, and it was a bunch of crazy kids doing their movie. But he had seen Donald Pleasance conduct himself with such aplomb and such grace, and did a part. He just went out there and did his job. And so I suspect that when Dan got the call for Halloween 3, the entire industry had gained a little respect, and he did not just blow it off and say, nah, who would want to do that? I'm an actor. No, it wasn't at all. He brought his professionalism and his great acting training to it, gave it everything he could give the most serious part, and that's the secret.
Yes, so quick question, obviously. So, obviously we know in retrospect that at the time Halloween 3 was kind of panned, mostly because people were like, no, where's Michael at and everything. But going back with the benefit of hindsight, would you have done anything different to the film? Because the film obviously has its fans, it obviously has great ideas, it's a great film, but would you have done anything differently?
It's got a two-part answer to that. On the one hand, advertising? Oh, hell yes. We would have done a great ad campaign that set the table for audience expectation. Yeah. That just goes without saying. And possibly, if we could have waved a magic wand, we might not have called it Halloween 3. We would have just called it Season of the Witch, because it's a good movie in its own right, but it created false expectation. There was this other part of this, and I've already forgotten what it was.
You right there. I know.
Yep.
Expecting this movie, I love this movie, and it is worthy of the title Halloween, just as much as it's the reason. Thank you. Had it been successful back then, you guys already have an idea what the next one might have been.
We hadn't gone that far into it. It was like a cocktail party conversation for us. Well, how about aliens? You know, we just hadn't gotten that far into it. I did think of what I wanted to comment about the movie, though, and it's a attestation to John's way of making movies. His name was on the dotted line. He had final cut just as he did on his earlier pictures. So when I got to be in the director's chair, I wondered how much control John would want to exert. And to his credit, he just let me make my movie. Right to the end, when the studio called him, and they were uneasy about the way the movie ends. The movie ends the way I would like Invasion of the Body Snatchers to have ended, because it was supposed to end with Kevin McCarthy saying, "You're next! You're next!" right to the camera. And you remember the movie, it's in there. But it's not the end of the movie. They put this kind of fake bookend thing where the audience is let off the hook because, oh, the cops, he's in the police station, and it's all going to be all right. And he's all, oh, great, I'm so glad. And it's like, I hated that. And so basically the ending of Halloween 3 was a tribute to Don Siegel and Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the way I know they would have wanted to end their movies. John called and said, listen, these guys are pestering me. They don't like the ending. They'd like you to consider changing it. John's in control. It's John's final cut that's going to count. And he said to me, first time direct, he said, it's your movie, what you want to do. I was like, oh my God. Forever grateful to John for that kind of behavior. That's what you want in a producer. And to his credit, when I said, you know, John, I think I'd like to do it the way it is, he said, I'll back you. That's what it's going to be.
Were your parents concerned at all about what happens to your characters if you were such a young kid in the movie?
No, well, my parents are from Canada, so they thought when I got involved in acting when I was like 3.5 years old, they thought I was a big hoot. So they thought I was hilarious. My mother, who I was going on, God rest her soul, she used to take on all the interviews, and then she was a fun lady. But they you know, because it was all fun. It really was just all fun and games. It was all just a big experience. So they were just happy to be part of it, and thrilled that I was able to experience it.
Yeah.
At the end of Halloween 3, is it supposed to be unknown whether Conal Cochran's plan worked or not?
Well, I think the story I see coming off the screen is that he pulled it off at some level. I don't know how many millions of kids were destroyed and all sorts of but you know, it may have been like in horseshoes, a leaner rather than a ringer. But he was successful at some level. That's what we know when the final frame comes up. It's not a happy ending. Well, it was a partial thing. If you watch the dialogue that Tom is expertly giving, he didn't succeed in getting them all shut off. It may be a partial victory for him, but somebody died.
This movie takes place in the world where the Halloween movies exist. My take has always been everybody died except the people that made Halloween 4 through 5. That's how they pass the time. They just made Halloween movies. Everybody else died.
Hey, Tommy, I just want to say that Halloween 3 is, aside from Halloween 1, is my favorite. The whole series is amazing.
Thank you.
As well as your work, you know, on the miniseries, as well as your work on Halloween 1. Very honored to be here. My question is, when Conal Cochran died, you know, from big boom, and he gets vaporized as opposed to getting, you know, obviously his robots get zapped and the stuff comes out of them. But like, did he? I always took it as that he was dead too. But did he die, or did he kind of get into the, you know, Stonehenge afterworld or whatever because he died the same way?
Well, I think the context of the movie tells us that he was not like you and me. There may have been some real dark magic involved. He was a warlock. And I assume that although he sort of blew up in the scene, that wouldn't surprise me at all if, you know, you wake up the next day, look out your window, and there's this guy walking along the hill. Some black magic involved.
All right.
You're green shirt. Yeah. So one of the things I really like about the movies is the idea of the technology and the magic kind of playing together. It's not just superstitious magic, it's also this kind of technology aspect. Can you talk a little bit about where that came from, where that idea, that marriage came from in your head?
I think Halloween 3 in general was the brainchild first of Deborah Hill. She was the person who was getting into this one sentence pitch that said technology meets witchcraft, and the computer age is involved in that. It grew out of that. I think that's what she told Nigel Neal before started writing the script. And yeah, I think that created a lot of fun possibilities. You know, that big set, when we finally reveal that there's definitely some technology involved, but over here is this big piece of Stonehenge. Well, after I get through laughing, I'm intrigued. I'm thinking, well, that's kind of cool. Yeah, sure. Magic is involved, but it's also aided by technology, which can be pretty horrifying in the wrong hands.
All right, guys, unfortunately, we have to wrap it up for the next panel, but just give a big round of applause again for our
Thank you.